Okay, so what are the things, a couple of things that I want to demo today. I want to demo, let's see, I'm going to demo the Boolean modifiers for sure. Hair, I'm going to demo hair, show you how to set that up. So I know some of you, actually quite a few of you are doing some things with hair. Yeah, I am.
Not that I'm not going to pay attention any less, but just
Any less.
I'm glad you said it that way. Yeah, so hair, the Boolean modifiers, which let you combine and combine shapes or use shapes to cut holes out of other shapes and stuff like that. It's really useful. It's like the Pathfinder tools in Illustrator, if you've ever used those. And kind of field a few questions and a couple of like, how do I do this from you guys, and then I can sort of run you through it. Things that maybe would benefit everybody else as well. We will get into texturing. But I want to do that after we've done the basic modeling. Okay? All right. Are there any questions or how-tos like right away? Like anybody like, how would you do this? No? All right. The curve modifier is going to be your friend on this project, especially like how we made the plane initially, right? Not Alex's super fast way of doing it, which is also really good, but the way of making like, making a basic geometric shape and then using your curve to make that shape move in a certain way, or to bend it or twist it or whatever. And a couple of you are doing curved pencils or thought of curved pencils or similar things like that, like maybe a really bent spoon. Using that curve modifier for that is going to help. Be way easier than just trying to model that by hand. Okay, a lot of times when you do 3D modeling, you're going to build the basic looking thing and then use modifiers to tweak it and twist it and move it around in weird ways. It's way easier that way. So let's start with the Boolean. I think this will be really useful for everyone. So Susie's trying to make an umbrella of sorts over there. So I'm going to use, I'm going to bring up a sphere. I'm going to do an icosphere just because I like triangles. And the umbrella is really just, half of the sphere. So let's get rid of the half we don't need. All right, so here's the bottom part, or I'm sorry, the top part. But she also has kind of that those little curves that are built into the edges. Now I'm sure there's a bunch of different ways to do this. There may even be, actually, you know what? I don't want the icosphere now that I'm thinking about it. I want a regular sphere because you have lines of latitude. Let's actually come down. How many ribs does an umbrella have, do we think? 8 or 12? 12? 8? That looks right. That's an octagon. Okay, so we'll do that. And we'll keep our latitude lines the same. All right. Okay. So, oops, I filled it, didn't I? I did. Oh, dissolve. There we go. All right. So, I want to make it empty. I'm going to now need to cut out like these little curves between these points. So there are a few ways we could do this. I'm just trying to think of the best way. I think just using using a Boolean is going to definitely be the best way. So Boolean, we take another object and we move it so that it intersects with the part that we want to edit. So I'm going to put a sphere in here. I'm actually just going to put my 3D cursor kind of right where I want it to spawn. Mesh, UV sphere. I'm going to up this back to the 32 that it was because I want it to be kind of smooth. Scale it down. All right, so this is when it's going to get a little tricky. 6. There we go. 4. All right, I don't have a good like head-on view here. Anyway, so now I want to probably scale it in the Y. Oh, you know what? Let's take a look here. Okay, X. Let's rotate this so our face. So we have a face that's lined up with our axes here. Okay. All right. Sphere. Lining things up and having them set up correctly at the beginning is really, really important. All right, and then we'll scale in the X to get that curve. I'm just looking at this shape here, right? Because that's all I care about. I'm gonna use this shape as sort of like a special eraser to cut out of this shape. Okay, so I'm gonna come to the umbrella then, go to the modifiers. Boolean is the third one in the second column, the generate column. Boolean, a couple of options. A red again means that it's not active or what you've put in your settings are not valid. There's 3 different types of operations. There's a difference, so it figures out what the difference is between the 2 of them. Union, it combines them together into one shape, and then intersect, where it just saves the intersection. The way that it figures these out does not always work. Okay, it does really poorly with more than 2 objects at once. So in this case, instead of like making a bunch of these and then doing it all at once, that's a bad idea. Essentially, you want to just one object at a time. So have your main object that you're cutting out of, and then use another object to actually cut out. So I'm actually, to save this shape, I'm going to duplicate it and just put one over here. All right. So sphere 1. All right. So object sphere 1. So obviously intersect is not what I want. Union is not what I want, but difference is what I want. Now it keeps the original object there, but if I go into Z mode, I can see that now the umbrella shape itself has that shape cut out. Okay, so the object I used to cut stays. So it's easier to see this if you're in wireframe mode. And then remember, that's just Z on your keyboard. Then you can just hit apply. And then if I hide this, I have that shape cut out now. All right, so you just would repeat it and move it around. Right, so I'll bring it back. Alt H to bring back things you've hidden. Z, and then let's grab it and move it over here. Just being very careful about how I rotate. So that's a 45-degree rotation. And then how I line things up. That looks about right. Oops. Okay, so come back here. Boolean, difference, sphere 1. Did it again. Hit apply, and then repeat. Okay, so you just move around for the 6 other faces, and it'll cut that shape out for you. So you'll end up with kind of an umbrella shape. From there, what I would do, see, it's not perfect here because I have them overlap in a little weird way. So you could come in and like clean some of that up. Right, just delete those vertices, edit mode. But what I do from here is actually give it some thickness. So use solidify, and then just make it a little thick. Not too thick because you can see it starts to break there, but a little bit of thickness. Let's see what that did. That was like barely any thickness. The reason I want you guys to do thickness for stuff like this is we are going to 3D print our objects when we get done with this project. Okay. We're not going to use the full color 3D printer that we have in here, just because, at least not initially. We're going to use the extruders in the library to get them done, or maybe RadLab, I don't know. Just so we can get the prototypes printed quickly and not have to worry about all the hoops you have to jump through for the other one. But they need to have thickness in order to be printed. Okay. All right. So that would be like the Boolean. You know, there's other ways to do this. So like if you made a spoon, right? Like let me just delete these. If I wanted to make a spoon, you know, start with your basic shape, which is going to be, you know, sphere. Maybe give it. Well, this is probably fine. You know, this is the basic shape of a spoon. You could approach this a couple different ways, but I think what I would do is start here, delete that part, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on proportional editing. So remember, that's when I grab a point, I have that little circle that pops up, right? So that it moves all the other spheres, other vertices proportionally to the one that I'm using to get you nice clean shapes really easily. I would use this, I think, maybe even like scale it this way. I'm trying to think of, I think I would need a spoon to look at. Kind of getting there. You know, play around with, sorry, I'm trying to think of like a spoon. Never tried to model a spoon. Bring and grab that. Oops. Scale it. Picture of a spoon. Does not look very spoon bullish because it's kind of like a, it's like fatter along one end. So maybe grab that one. There we go. That's more of a spoon shape. Right, by using the purport, did you guys see that? I don't think anyone was looking up here. So, you know, I'm starting with my oval here, but with proportional editing, you don't have to grab a whole bunch of vertices. You just got to know sort of like where, like what part you want to kind of move. So to make this end a little fatter, to not have it curve so nicely, you know, make it a little squatter, I'm just going to grab this point here, and then I know if I keep my circle kind of big and constrain my movement to an axis, I can kind of move that in, and that gets me much closer to that spoon shape that I want. Still kind of looks a little weird this way. Oops. Yeah, I don't think I would do that. So that gets you kind of there, and then again solidify and play around with it that way. Maybe bring that lip down or something a little bit too, make it a little shallower. I don't know why I was showing you guys a spoon. I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, so if you want to do a spoon and then like stick a hole in it, so let's solidify the spoon. Right, so now I have a solid spoon, but maybe I want a spoon that has a giant hole in it, so it's a really useless spoon. Right, so a cylinder. Try to always work with your, either constraining your transformations to an axis or working in ortho in a specific axis. So then I just come to, let's call it spoon. Spoon. Come to the spoon, give it a Boolean. It is the cylinder and difference. See, it cuts the hole. Hit apply, and then you can just get rid of that. So now I have spoon with a hole in it. Nice big hole. So, okay, and then you could give it a, you know, if I wanted to, well, let's give it a handle. So you want to give it a handle, right? So model the handle separately. Not a plane. Maybe a cube. Let's move our spoon over there. So a cube, and I'm going to make a really basic kind of handle here. Like this is a super basic handle. Could maybe flare it in one place. So let's put an edge loop, like here, another one there, and I want this to look, yeah, then we can flare this part. All right, grab these guys, scale with your modifier on, of course, that Boolean, scale that, grab that guy, but maybe turn off your modifier and scale that one in. All right. And make rid of this part. Alright, so this is going to be my spoon handle, but I'm going to curve it first. This is when the curve modifier is going to be helpful for you. So grab yourself a curve. Remember, actually that curve is a pretty good spoon handle curve. Just scale it up a little bit. Maybe grab this and move it along the Y. Then just apply your curve modifier. Oh, right, but you need to also give your spoon a bunch more faces. It has not enough faces. Alright, so now, move my spoon, scale it a bit more. Alright, so that gives me a spoon handle that curves. It's a really, really basic handle, but you get the idea, hopefully. Stick that into your, just have it needs to overlap a little bit here, right? By having it overlap, you can we'll add the curve modifier, so we don't need to worry about our curve anymore. Having it overlap a little bit will let you add the Boolean then. Sometimes it will mess up too if your origin point, this little dot, is not actually in the center of it. So I'm going to add it to the middle. But let's add, let's just do a union. Let's do a Boolean. I have the Boolean on the handle. So I need to grab the sphere. And let's go union. Oh, geez. Wrong sphere. Yeah, spoon. So because everything, union, everything is activated now, then I know they're connected. I can hit apply. I have the regular spoon bowl, but now I have a whole spoon. Does that make sense to everybody? How it's really easy then to make and combine shapes by making your parts and then combining them later with the Boolean. Okay, and then cutting out other shapes and stuff like that too. But now maybe I wanted, this is a really tiny spoon. Maybe I want my spoon to be hair or lots of hair or something. Maybe I just want this the handle to be super hairy or something. I don't know. Really gross. So hair is a physics modifier. Your physics tab is kind of this, particle modifier. Your particle tab right here are these little stars, I guess, particles. If you click on that, you have to hit new particle system. Okay. There's lots of different types of particle systems. There's an emitter, which shoots out like sparks and different types of particles. So you do that for like embers and smoke or any other things that you want. And then there's a hair particle system, and this shoots out strings, and then the strings render as hair. Okay. If I do it to the whole thing though, it's going to shoot them out from like every face. You can set it to be faces or vertices or just the volume. I don't necessarily want it to be every face, like maybe in this instance I just want it to be the handle. So in that case, what you would do is, well, let's set up the particle system first, and then we'll go from there. So you select your object, give it a particle system, change the type to hair. You can already see a bunch of strings there that kind of came out. They're coming off of, so the direction is determined by the normals, or the direction of the faces. You can change that. Let's see, we want dynamics turned on. They don't have a material right now, so we're not going to worry about it. You can give them, if you set up like an actual hair material in cycles, so something that has the properties of hair, you can assign that material. Let's see, we can set the number. So right now, if we look at this, it's probably going to be, is it going to fall? There we go. So if I animate it, it doesn't have any gravity right now, but it's kind of trying to move. So you can sort of see it looks really bad right now, but that's all the hair coming off of it. Lots of little broken spots as well. I don't know why. There must be some like random vertice up here, some hidden thing. Let me remove doubles. Nope. Huh. I don't know. I don't know why there's hair up there. Huh. Now it's not going. Okay, that was weird. So different things you can do: display, children, force field, vertex, cycles, hair settings, textures. I feel like all my faces are going the wrong direction. So if you're getting it where your hair is going like this, like as opposed to if we just had like a regular cube, you know, or a simple shape. We gave this shape also particle system, right? This one should, let's see, hair dynamics, presets, mass, random, drag. It's my gravity setting, scaling, field weights, gravity, there we go. So it has to kind of render first, and I'll show you what that looks like on the timeline. This little red highlight bar here is kind of like how it's been thinking about the hair. And right now it hasn't really had a chance to think about this hair. So it's not really doing anything. It should now though. There we go. So it's all falling. This activity is just controlled by like, that is really crazy. It's controlled by like the stiffness and stuff. It's because all the faces are going in really weird directions. Let it fall. It's pretty stiff hair right now as well. I need a light in here. Maybe let's give it a sky texture. Some actual. There we go. All right. So let's actually clean this up. Oops. Oh yeah, I haven't saved it yet. Oh, wrong one. How did you forget everything? Oh, never mind. There we go. Okay. So let's clean this. Let's clean this one up. Let's change our stiffness. Unless you want really stiff hair, you can make it heavier. You can decrease the length quite a bit. You can see that happening. You see how my hair is just growing out of like all the faces in one direction. Yeah. So if you just want to do the handle, I'll show you how to do that. It's gonna look for something really quick. I don't know where it is. I lost it. Okay. Almost consistent. All right, still the same. Yeah, if you just want to do the handle, that's really easy to do. So instead of having your entire object selected when you apply the hair, you're going to do what's called a vertex group. All right, so you want to select the vertices that you want to add to a group. Okay, so I'm going to unselect everything. I just want to do the handle. So I'm just going to grab all of these, and I'm in wireframe mode right now, so I can grab all the way through. Okay, if you're in solid mode when you go to do this, you can't see through it. Oh, that's why. See all those tiny little faces right there? I made a terrible handle, so don't make your handle like I did. I would fix that. That's a really, really bad handle. That's why the hair is getting all crazy. But yeah, if you're just in solid mode and you go to select it, you're not going to select everything underneath as well. Okay, if you're in wireframe, so you hit Z and then select everything, and it selects all the way through. That's what you want. Okay, you're going to add this to a vertex group. You find the vertex group control. It's this little triangle with the edges and the vertices. That's what these are, little dots and lines. This is your vertex group controls. You just look for vertex groups. With those selected, you're going to hit plus to add a new group, and then assign. And that assigns these vertices to this group. You double click on the name, you can edit it, handle, so I can deselect it, select it, deselect it, select it. All right, that's how you double check that it's active. So you just select all the vertices you want, add a new vertex group using the plus, and then assign the vertices to that vertex group. Okay? All right. Then, under your particle system, you come down to, where is it? Vertex groups, density, handle. So we're controlling where the hair is being emitted from using this density tag. So now the hair is only being emitted from my really crappy handle. Okay, so go into rendered mode. Let me make a new material so that we can see the color change here. Right. Let's make this one. Let's bring it back up. Gray. So your second material is going to be your hair material. Your first one will be your spoon base material. Okay. All right. So let's call this hair. Particle system. Material. Hair. So now you can see it kind of there. It looks terrible because I modeled it terribly. You can increase your number, you could increase the length. If you increase the length, I recommend increasing the sample or the segments as well. But just know that the more you do that, segments should be under advanced segments. Here we go. The segments are like how many times each length of hair has like joints essentially, right? So the more segments, the more like natural looking hair you can get. But it also takes a lot of memory. So let's let it kind of re-render real quick. Yeah, it just freaked out. I would completely redo the handle. I did a really terrible job with that handle. Yeah, I know. It doesn't like it at all. But yeah, so that's how you set up hair. All right, just make sure you have a good clean object, not a billion little faces like I made. And then it's a particle system. Okay. All right. What was the other thing we were talking about? It was like one more thing, I thought. The Booleans, the hair. I'm going to do texturing on Wednesday. Is there anything else anybody was curious about? No? All right. That should be enough to get you started. I'll do another demo on Wednesday to help out.